I'm also tactical because the Total were insisting that they should take all the oil. Why do you take the oil? They could use as are here. Why do you take it? So, no, there's no money in the refinery. I said, no, you are lying. Now, eventually, we agreed that we build a small refinery of 60,000 barrels per day. What do you call this? You build, then you add on. There's a way they say it in English. You build one unit, then you add on. Add on another 60,000, and that my refinery would have first score on the oil, and then the balance you can export through Tanzania. Fine. Now recently, and then that ECOP, it's now called ECOP, East African Pipeline. Later on, we could see that people of Congo could use it if they want, because there's some oil there on the other side. People in South Sudan can use it, because they have got oil there. Now, this oil of the Calabat is one of the 5 provinces. We have got 4 other provinces of oil. This is just one of them. So therefore, the 13%, the internal rate of return is 1.3. Okay. And what is the internal rate of return of others in the world? Find out. So therefore, when His Excellency Ruto recently sent me a message, I supported it, that the surplus oil, which we had given to Total to take through Tanga to I don't know where, be our contribution to the refinery in Tanga, number 1. Then later on, we can add the petroleum from the other Congo, from South Sudan, and also these other provinces, because the one of Uganda, where we have the oil now, is only 40% of the Albert area. There is another 60% which we have not which is not yet fully explored. So there's more oil in Uganda, both within Albert and in the other provinces. So therefore, I support this idea of the Tanga refinery. We shall maintain our small refinery because we have already gone ahead. We are very far. We can't stop. The question is, how do you those refineries, if you don't want to create kwa Kiswahili tunasema wivu, jealous. Tunasema wivu, if you don't want wivu, it's better that if the countries have ownership together, like in because that's what we were doing in the past. We were calling it East African Common Services. We are owning the ports together, East African harbors, East African Railway, East African Airways, East African Development Bank. It was all East African. If it is all ours, then it is ours. Then it is not either me or you. Hakuna kushindana. You are all together. So with these few words, you should be careful. Don't invite old men for. Don't give audience to old men, because you do so at your own risk. With these few words, it is now my pleasure to participate in the meeting.
A round of applause again for Mzee. Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. You agree with me that please, let's take our seats. You agree with me that we have benefited from a wealth of wisdom from Mzee, President Museveni, and we have been listening to you very carefully, Mzee, very carefully. And you have made the work of this summit that much more easy for us to take it forward. I take note of what you have said about the need for us to save. It is one of the decisions that I've had to make in Kenya to change the contribution model for our savings. You have also made a very profound statement, and I hope those of us in Kenya were listening to Mzee. He has said money from our social security savings must not only be used for matters consumption and paying debt by investing in treasury bills. It should also be invested much more meaningfully in infrastructure development. That is what progressive countries do. I know there's been a debate in Kenya as to whether resources from our pension funds should be used in the development of the railway, the roads, and other infrastructure. The wisdom of Mzee tells us that is the right thing to do. And that is conventional wisdom worldwide. And it is the statement that was said by my good friend, the CEO of Africa Finance Corporation, linking our pension funds to infrastructure development. So with those many remarks, I think it's a good point for us to say now that the Africa Infrastructure Summit is formally open and we can progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. I'll request that we kindly take our seats. We'll shortly be transitioning to a presidential panel discussion. And for us to transition to that, we'll now have the signing of the host country agreement. And I request that we bring in the table and those instruments that are going to be used for signing. This is a signing of the host country agreement between Kenya and the Africa Finance Corporation. It is basically to establish the regional offices of the Africa Finance Corporation in Nairobi, Kenya, as has already been mentioned. So at this point, allow me to invite the signatories, starting with His Excellency Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, who is the Prime Cabinet Secretary, to kindly take your seat at the signing table. Also followed in tow by Samia D. Zaibaru, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Africa Finance Corporation. The host country agreement is between the